You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 149. So now what? These three words raced through my mind time and time again during my journey through fertility treatments. I tried desperately to have a child, but never was able. I yearned for a community to join that could understand my struggles. I couldn't find one, so I created one with the So Now What podcast. I love that you found us. Oh my gosh, I have been waiting for this moment to be back with you today. It has been since November 12th since I did a podcast episode. So much has happened. Just to give you the Cliff's Notes version, if you have not been following along on social media or don't know what happened, I ended up needing to have surgery. I shattered my kneecap. Yes, total bummer. Randomly fell. You can listen to episode 148 and you'll hear the details of all that went through my brain after falling, about feeling alone, about worrying about what life's going to be like once I get older and I don't have kids to take care of me. But here I am. I made it. I had so much love and support. I'm still in the process of healing. I'm still in a brace. I don't really leave the house much, but come sometime mid-January, I am sure all that will change. I'll be able to drive again and walk my dog again and do all the things that I have not been able to do. But until then, it was so wonderful to know that there is an outpouring of love and concern and care for us, even though we don't have kids. I think our brain loves to get us in this crazy spiral about the fact that not having kids means that you don't have a support system. And all of that was totally debunked for me. So here I am, age 50, with so many people who've shown love, care, dropped off things, mailed cards, sent food, flowers, love, everything that I possibly could ask for happened for me. And I want you to know that you don't have to have kids to take care of you, because life is so much greater than that. But what I do want to talk about is that we are just upon Christmas. Okay. My family's Serbian Orthodox, so we celebrate Christmas on January 7th as well. So I basically have two Christmases. So depending on whether you celebrate Christmas or not, there's just probably a lot that's been going on for you. I was planning on having a call before all this debacle happened with me to support you through Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays, but that ended up getting canceled. I want to let you know before we get too deep into this episode, this call has been rescheduled. It is this week on December 19th at 6 p.m. Central. It is a free masterclass all about handling the holidays, how to navigate traditions, how to feel like you're connected to family, how to feel like you can celebrate in the celebrations that maybe you don't feel connected to this year. So all this good stuff I'm going to cover off on. I'll put a link to it in my show notes so that you can register for this call. I'd love for you to join, because I think this is such a valuable conversation that so many of us don't have because no one's talking about this stuff. And I know how heavy this time of year can feel, and handling the holidays when your dream of motherhood has not come true, whether you left IVF or fertility treatments this year or years ago, the holidays just bring up this mix of emotions that can be tough to navigate. So let's talk more about that. If you're watching TV or scrolling through social media and it feels like everything is filled with kids and you're feeling overwhelmed by family gatherings, or just sad about the thought of another Christmas morning without little ones running down the stairs, you're not alone. And in this episode, we're going to talk through some of the ways to manage these feelings, how you can honor your experience, how you can honor your grief. Nobody tells us how to grieve when we don't have this thing that we thought we were going to automatically be given because we are females and our body was designed with reproductive organs. How can you create new ways to celebrate that feel meaningful to you? Let's first acknowledge these challenges and the weight of what you might be feeling right now. The holidays have a way of highlighting what we thought our lives would look like. You might have imagined sitting in the glow of your Christmas tree. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can see what my background looks like. This beautiful Christmas tree with the fire all aglow and everything perfectly in place. And when you don't have that and you imagined watching your child tear through wrapping paper or take their first picture with Santa, and instead you're finding yourself navigating a season that looks very different, I want to tell you that I see you. I have been there. So many of us still might be there or may throw glimpses into this life that we thought we were going to have. And it might feel like you were robbed of something that you thought was going to be a layup for you. And being around family can add another layer to that complexity. Maybe you're spending time with your nieces and nephews and finding joy in their laughter, but also feeling that ache of what you're missing. Or maybe you're watching your siblings with their kids and see that they get to pass down these traditions that were so beautiful in your childhood to this next generation and feeling like you didn't get to participate in that baton pass. And it's okay to feel like this experience might separate you in some ways, that your sister or your brother get to do these things. You're not a bad person for feeling like you are missing out. And there's constant triggers, commercials with kids building snowmen or waking up to the perfect Christmas morning, social media posts about holiday traditions with children, and even small moments like walking through the toy aisle or hearing the chatter of little ones at a holiday party that bring up emotions that you thought you had processed. You thought they were behind you. And if this resonates with you, I want you to know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you if you're feeling this way. Those feelings are real. They're valid. They're not something that have to be put behind you in order for you to move forward in your life. And I think we don't hear that enough. No one taught us that about grief. That's something that was so eye-opening for me and why I got my advanced certification in grief, because we're taught that we get to a point in our lives where grief is just behind us and we don't feel it anymore. And this is not true. So while we can't control the triggers of the reality that we've been through, we can shift how we decide to show up this season. So here's a couple ideas. I'm just going to throw them out to you. Take one, take all, take none. But you need to learn how to set boundaries and honor your needs. So before you head into that family gathering, take a moment and check in with yourself. What do you need to feel safe and supported? Not what mom wants you to do or not what you think people are going to judge you for what you decide to do. But before you go in anywhere, decide what it is you are willing to give of yourself. Maybe you need to step out throughout the day. Maybe you need to have an extended bathroom break and you're going to just check out for a few minutes and go on your phone and text somebody who you know. That's one of the beautiful things I love about my Thrive After Infertility Mastermind. The women that are in Thrive, we have this communication that goes on all the time. We check in with each other. We say, what's going on? I need help. I need to just take a break, someone to listen. So do that for yourself. If you want to reach out to me, reach out to me. I'd be happy to be your partner in crime on Christmas. But it's okay to say no to the traditions or conversations that don't feel good for you this year. Some of us need to figure out, how can we create our meaning? If Christmas morning feels really quiet for you without kids, think about, how can you create tradition in your day or in that morning that brings you joy? Maybe it's a cozy breakfast in bed with your partner. Maybe you want to go volunteer and serve food at a soup kitchen. Maybe you want to go for a beautiful walk. I live in Chicago and there's like Christmas lights. I live around Navy Pier that's lit up and beautifully decorated. Maybe you live in a neighborhood and you just want to take your dog for a walk in the morning. Or maybe you want to get out of town this holiday. Impromptu. I know for a fact flights are always cheaper on Christmas Day. So maybe you want to pack your bags and get the hell out of town on Christmas Day. But decide what you want this season to look like for you. Acknowledging your emotions is so important. Now, I think we're very scared to not always feel the emotions that you can classify as like the positive emotions. And when those feelings come up that don't feel good, don't feel like you should be feeling around Christmas, we often judge ourselves. When those feelings that feel tough for you come up, do not push them away. I know that it doesn't feel good to feel lonely or to feel like you're alone, but give yourself permission to know what that feels like. In order to adequately support yourself, you need to realize that emotions come in different waves. They come in different forms. And if we're always judging ourselves or running away from the emotions that feel like they're too much to bear, then we're always going to be judging ourselves when those emotions come up. So maybe it's journaling or talking to someone that you can trust to help you process what it is that's coming up for you. And then decide like where you can find your peace. Sometimes being around kids can be both healing and hard. Watching your niece and nephew feel the joys of Christmas can feel so beautiful for you, but also be this reminder that you're struggling. But it's okay to hold two emotions at once. You can love your nieces and nephews while also grieving what hasn't happened for you. And when you allow both to exist, there can start to be the shift of peace and acceptance. So, as you move through this holiday season, I want you to remember that your worth is not defined by whether or not you have children. You are valuable and you're an important part of your family, your extended family, maybe your chosen family, your community, and the traditions that you're part of. Even if it feels like you're standing on the outside looking in, your presence matters so deeply. And if this season feels heavy, know that you don't have to navigate it alone. I want you to join this free masterclass I am teaching on Thursday, December 19th. We're going to talk more about these challenges, and I'll share practical ways that you can handle the holidays with more grace and more ease. You'll leave this masterclass feeling more prepared to create a season that feels true to you. So thank you so much for joining me on my first podcast episode back since November. I have missed you so much. I have judged myself for not coming on sooner and doing a podcast episode sooner, but I knew that you wouldn't want me to be here if I wasn't ready to be here. So there's so much more clarity and compassion I have for myself and what I need and how to show up for myself in a way that feels authentic and true. And showing up today, I feel that with you. So if you have any questions at all about anything we covered off on today, please join us on Thursday. You can also DM me at lana.manikowski on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube and find me there. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the week. I love you. And remember that it's never too late to discover your meaning. I'll talk to you next week. Hey, real quick, I just wanted to tell you about an awesome resource I created. If you have ever found yourself in conversations with people, or maybe people offering you suggestions about what you should do to become a mom, it's called The Top 27 Things People Say When You're Childless and How to Respond. You can get your copy free at lanamanikowski.com/things people say.